Hey crafty cuties, welcome back. Today we are going to work on the third episode of our travel junk journal using a junk journal kit. I'll have the information below where I got this kit from. And I have decided that I do actually want to cover this cover. If you've watched both episodes, you know that I was planning to just use it like this. But I kind of changed my mind and I really just wanted the spine to be really reinforced. And then I found this paper that I really, really love. And I feel like I normally would not use it for a journal for myself. So I was like, you know what? Why don't you use that for yourself? So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm trying to think here what I want to start with. Okay, something that I really like to do when I am reusing a book cover is start out by covering the entire thing in muslin, and that's really just going to give us a lot more durability. And I don't know, I just really like this if I plan on covering the book cover, that is. So I will just start out by adding glue on this entire cover, a pretty generous amount, but not too much, I guess. You don't want it oozing out. And I'm just using some unbleached muslin for this. Now, of course, if you are covering yours in fabric, you can just go straight to the fabric. And I'm not exactly sure what I want my spine to look like. So I know that I want the cover to have this print, but I'm not sure what I want to do with the spine, and it is a little cracked, and this is going to be a little bit see-through. We will see here in a few. So I'll probably need to do something to the spine, unless I don't mind that it's see-through and you can see like the writing, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably be covering that part as well. So I'm just kind of quickly gluing this on, and I'm going to go ahead and trim the corners like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and, do I keep saying go ahead? Then I will wrap this muslin around all of the edges. And I'm just going to skip through here. I'm going to show you. I'll do one with you, and then I'm just going to repeat. I have a full junk journal tutorial. I have a few of them on my channel. So if you want to see every little step, I will have that full video linked below. But I kind of want to just zone in on the important parts of this. So I'm just going to continue that on all. So instead of taking the paper and wrapping it around the edges, I went ahead and just cut these down into panels to cover the front and back cover. And I think I'm actually going to keep the muslin spine as the spine. And I'm just going to use some distress ink around the edges, but since I still have wet glue, I'm just going to hold off on that part right now. And we will go ahead and ink up the edges of the papers here, because I think I'm going to layer some pieces on the front here. If you guys remember, I got this in the kit and I wanted to use that, so we will use that on the front here somehow, in some way. I think I had leftover black ink on this, so it's a little dark, but that's okay. It actually matches pretty well. Okay. Just ink these up, so then I have one for the front and one for the back. Alrighty. Like I said, we will ink up the edges of the actual book once it dries, because it's still pretty wet. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of get a plan of what I want before I glue anything down. I know that the back actually will definitely just have this glued down, so we can go ahead and do that right now. But I want to figure out what I want on my layers before gluing it down, in case I want the brads to maybe just go through the paper, which I probably will. So I'm just going to try to kind of center that on as best as I can. Okay. All right. There were a few other little pieces of like textiles and things that came in this kit. Let me pull this out since I do know I want to use this. So I just try to kind of visualize and see what this is going to look like. I know I want that at the top so I can maybe write like summer 2018, but I'm thinking about layering. Yeah, we're gonna layer just a little bit of this underneath. I think that will be kind of a nice look. All right. I think we'll just go like that. And I'm gonna kind of rough up these edges as well. Although we did get this as well. This was another fabric that came. So actually I think I'm gonna kind of layer these. But I also want some paper to be underneath here. On this kind of ledger looking paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim around so that this is the right size to fit underneath this frame. I'm going to kind of glue this on the back here just to hold it in place while we're moving everything around. And then, like I said, I'm going to attach this piece just to our paper, not through the actual book cover. So we're going to make sure everything is exactly where we want it, and then we can use the brads to put this in place. Okay, I'm trying to center mine the best that I can without a ruler. I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to poke 2 holes just right where the holes need to be for the brads. And then the kit came with 2 brads so that you can attach this securely. So, you know what, I'm gonna actually go ahead and add some glue underneath each of these layers just for extra security here. Okay, so there's that. I'll just add a little bit back here. There's a string that's wanting to stay attached here. We'll move you. Okay, so I may need to repunch the holes since I kind of moved things, but maybe I got it in the right spot. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to put my brad through there and one through this side. Just make sure that everything is on straight, and then I'm just going to press the backs of the brads down like so. All right. Now we can go ahead and attach this to our front cover. I am going to add a generous amount of glue to this, especially since we have this metal hardware on right in that area. Go ahead and center this on. And then just make sure to press down really well all around the paper, even on this one. Let's go ahead and move on into the inside, and then we can come back and finish the outside when we're done. Now, if you got a really big crack on your spine, or you're really worried about the durability of your spine, I do recommend covering it with some Tyvek. Now, you can either recycle a Tyvek envelope that you get from USPS. Make sure you're just recycling it. You're not picking up the supplies to use, you know, in your junk journals. Or you can also buy Tyvek on Amazon or different places online. And I would go ahead and just basically glue this down. I'm not even going to bother because my spine is okay. And I am going to cover with some fabric here. I just have a scrap here. It's not even long enough to cover, but that's fine because I'll have some paper panels as well. Now you want to think about if you want any type of closures, and I'm actually going to use this kind of vintage retro ribbon trim that I have here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of cut those out. And I'll go ahead and glue those in place real fast. I swear so many times I forget to put my closures in until it's too late, but you can always add them later if you forgot. All right. Now this kit did come with a really fun little knob that you could have put on top. Let's see, it was a Tim Holtz knob like this right here. And I was thinking that would have been really fun, but I didn't find a trim that I would have wanted to use that would go on the back and it would wrap around to the front. So I just went ahead and did what I normally do. And it wouldn't hurt if I was using a bigger piece of muslin to line the inside, but my cover is pretty well intact, and so I'm not even really too concerned about using it. Get a good amount of glue inside the spine though. All right, and I'm just simply going to cover this. And I am obviously kind of doing this a little bit quicker than I would if I were making this for someone else, or I don't know, I'm just kind of rushing this project because I just want to get it done, to be completely honest, and it's mine, so I'm just like, as long as I'm making it good enough that it's not going to fall apart, we're good. Okay, this paper came in the kit, and I definitely want to use it to cover the inside here, so I'm just going to measure what size I need and cut it out. You know what, I could almost just cut straight across. However, I don't like having one piece of paper that goes across because it normally cracks where the spine is. So I'm going to go back to my original plan and just cut this. I went ahead and cut this out, added some glue, and now I'm just going to place this down. And I will probably decorate this inside cover at some point, or I might just put a library card, honestly. So we'll go ahead and glue on the back inside cover. Then I think we're getting close. I do want to add some metal corners, so we'll do that together. Just place that on. All right, so before we add those metal book corners, I think I will go ahead and distress the edges, even though, yes, my cover is still a little bit wet with glue, but just for the sake of this video. So if you're doing this at home, I would definitely wait until it dries. But I'm gonna go around all of the edges, and then I'm really going to distress that spine so that you can't really notice that there are words peeking through when it dries. And you can even kind of see some of that design peeking through, but again, that's not really going to be noticeable. I could have made my panel a little bit bigger. I just don't mind. It really doesn't bother me. All right. And then I can always go back through and touch this up once it's all dry if I think I need some more. Now I normally would add like book cloth on the spine on a journal like this, I guess. And I would have the book cloth on the top so that it would kind of wrap around and peek over the edge of this. But I could not find my book cloth at all, so that's okay. But I do actually also like this look where it's just the muslin. I think it looks kind of cool, and I think it definitely matches with this kind of vibe that I'm going with. All right, so that's good enough for now. Now we can just add our metal corners. And so for this, I've done plenty of in-depth tutorials. Basically, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. These just slip right on over the corner. And most of them you will need to use a plier to tighten. Some of them you can probably do with your hand, but I have these here, so I'm just gonna squeeze that down. Just make sure they're really tight so that they do not pop off, because that is basically the whole point. Protect your corners. So I will now just make sure, I was going to say, make sure that your paper is tucked underneath, or your fabric is tucked underneath when you do this on the edges there. But I'm just going to continue this to all 4 corners. All right, we have our corners on, and our cover is just completely ready to go. I really like the yellow in this. I think it looks really cool, and it's just a trim that I have been dying to use on something, so it's kind of fun that I got to use it on something of my own. But yeah, we're ready to sew in our signatures. I'm probably going to just put a library card right here, but I might want to decorate it, but you know what the heck. Let's go ahead and put it down, and then I can add some embellishments to it as we go. And I'm not exactly sure what I will add to the other side. Probably like a craft bag or something like that, but we will add that when I find something that I really like. And on this card, I'm going to just write down the dates that are in this book. Oopsies, there goes that. Okay, we'll just stick that right there. There we go, guys. So I hope this was helpful to you. Stick around for the next episode, where we will work on the signatures. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.